You're going to have time today to work on your To Kill a Mockingbird MEL-Con paragraph. This is the assignment. You are to write a MEL-Con paragraph about any character in the book except Scout. You will choose one word or phrase to describe the person and then use specific information from the text to support your claim. You must incorporate 2 quotations with citations into the paragraph. I'll explain what that means in a minute. The paragraph is due tomorrow. MEL-Con forms are in the hallway, but you might need more copies. This is a sample paragraph I wrote about Jimmy Valentine from the story we read in January, I think. Jimmy Valentine from O. Henry's story, A Retrieved Reformation, is a good person. So a good person is the phrase I'm using. Everything else in the paragraph is supporting that claim. So then I go with my first transition. First of all, he is generous. Immediately after he is released from prison, he tossed a quarter into the hat of a blind man sitting by the door. And then I give my parenthetical citation. This is the author's last name. With O. Henry, he only has one name. But with Harper Lee, you're going to use Lee. And then the year that it was published, 1903. 25 cents in 1903 was not an insignificant amount of money, and this action shows us that Jimmy easily shares his wealth. So I'm using O. Henry's words in the quotation marks, but the point I'm making is my point. I'm using his words to support what I'm saying. Notice how the quotation isn't a link all by itself or an example all by itself. It's supporting what I'm saying. My second example, to add to that, Jimmy is forgiving. He could be very angry that his friends on the outside didn't get him released from jail after 3 months like they promised, but he takes it in stride. When he gets to Mike Dolan's bar and Mike apologizes for the delay, Jimmy simply dismisses his apology and goes on preparing for the next phase of his life. Now, this phrase that I have in quotation marks here isn't significant. That isn't unique to this story. That's a phrase I could find in thousands of publications. So I don't need a citation from that, but I put quotations around it to indicate that that is an exact phrase. I'm using the words that O. Henry used, but I don't need a citation. This entire section is a paraphrase. I'm using a specific example from the text. The fact that Mike Dolan says, "Oh, sorry, Jimmy, me boy, we couldn't make it sooner, but we had to buck against that protest from Springfield." And then Jimmy simply says, "Do you have my key?" He doesn't hold a grudge or anything like that. I'm paraphrasing. If that paraphrase, those words that I'm putting in my own words, had come from a different source than the one I had cited already up here, then I would need to put in another parenthesis with O. Henry, 1903. But because it's all from the same short story, I don't need another set of parentheses. All right. Here you can just see this is the source material. This is where I got the quotation, "tossed a quarter into the hat of a blind man sitting by the door." And I took that word for word. This is where I got the quotation from the warden. "You're not a bad fellow at heart. Stop cracking safes and live straight." All right. The third example, finally, Jimmy is well liked by everyone who knows him. From the first moment the reader meets Jimmy, good things are being said about him. Even the warden says, "You're not a bad fellow at heart," and this is a man used to dealing with hardened criminals all day long. Now, where my X is here, I should have another citation. It doesn't go right after the quotation mark because my sentence keeps going, but then before the period of that sentence, I should have parenthesis, O. Henry, comma, 1903, parenthesis, and then the period. Ultimately, even Ben Price, who has the power to end Jimmy's freedom once and for all, gives Jimmy the benefit of the doubt and walks away from what could have been the arrest of his FBI career. In conclusion, whether he is committing crimes or reforming his life, Jimmy Valentine was the kind of person everyone enjoys knowing. All right, I sum it all up, but I do not repeat myself exactly in the conclusion. And I don't just list the 3 things. I said something new and different rather than just repeating myself. Do that. This is the citation that you will need when you are making your quotations out of the To Kill a Mockingbird book. So, once again, this is your assignment. You are to write a MEL-Con paragraph about any character in the book except Scout. If you write about Scout, I'll hand it back to you. You will choose one word or phrase to describe the person and then use specific information from the text to support your claim. You must incorporate 2 quotations with citations into the paragraph. The rest of it can be paraphrased, but all of your links should be specific evidence from the book. This is due tomorrow. If you choose to write about Boo Radley, make sure to focus on actual information about the real character as opposed to the legend information that is given in chapter 1 or chapter 3 when the children are talking about he's 7 feet tall, he eats cats, he has blood-stained hands. Make sure that you're using information that actually comes from when Scout encounters him. Good luck, do a good job. It's worth 20 points and it's due tomorrow. I hope to see you then.